Yeah, politics is a scam. I don't know what else to tell you, my friend. Yeah, there's not much else to tell you, to be honest. That's it. Thank you for joining me, good viber. So this election time, I decided not to vote. In the past, I voted Green Party because why not? Honestly, it just feels like not that many people vote Green Party, and so I did a little researching, and that's because the Green Party, I guess, there are a good amount of like anti-war. And I just wanted to update you by saying that politics is a scam. It is like this big drama show that we, as participants in America, we get this chance to vote on our favorite person that we think we will be happy with ruling over us and the nation. There's a couple of flaws. Like, we think that one human has the capacity to rule rightly over a whole nation. Well, I guess so, because I guess that's what the idea is. But the real kicker is really thinking about like the marketing budget and the fundraising of millions of dollars of money to make campaigns to maybe tear down the other side, to appease to different groups of people, to just make it known that they're there, print signs, do whatever, XYZ, right? So much money is spent to just yell louder than the other side and let other people know that I'm the person that you should vote for. That is insane to me. Now, do you notice how intense the political time is, the tension, because of the energy that we put into this election process? Bro, now I was gonna vote. I was gonna be a good American citizen. I have the privilege of voting, and you know what? I was like, I'm gonna do it. But the anxiety that I felt as the time for me to go, got closer and closer, it was nauseating. I felt like I was gonna throw up. Gosh, I was so anxious and I felt rigid. I was like, no matter who I vote for, somebody's gonna hate me. So, and I honestly, frankly, don't even know if it really matters. Like, there's so much going on there, and so part of me was wishing, like, man, if we had some kind of royal family, then at least we'd always be disappointed because they are there, we don't have our hopes up thinking that this person's gonna change my life. Like, why would you give somebody that power? Like, that's we're all human. We all are gonna live, we're all gonna die. Some of us have 2 hands, some of us have 2 eyes. We all have capabilities, some of us have talents. And skills that others do not. Because they possess skills and talents that we do not have. That is the way the world works. And so, yeah, I believe that those that decide to go through the stressful route of feeling like they have the power over the people and they want to go the political route, like that's their thing, right? So I'm not like just taking a moment to breathe, bringing compassion, because that's super stressful. You're always gonna be hated. There's always gonna be somebody that doesn't like nobody is the same. And because of that, we don't like sometimes what we are not. And sometimes we don't like what we are. And if we see that in other people, then you better believe that we will be hard on them and that we will let them know we do not like that. So politics is this interesting thing. Like, so I'm going to go on with my story pretty much about how I didn't vote, and I was super anxious, and I was thinking, I gotta, but I don't even know who to vote for, and to be honest, I still feel guilty because there are other electoral things that were going on, And I did do a little research here and there, but I just didn't feel like I did enough research, and I didn't want to go there waiting in line, keep on Googling. And I honestly just, the energy for me was the biggest reason. I just didn't want to surround myself with such intense energy where everybody felt like on edge. Everybody's keeping their mouth closed, but, you know, they're silently wondering who's opposing them with their vote, you know. Whose vote are they going to cancel out? I do, ultimately. And it was just like, so I stayed home, and, you know, I talked to my mom about it, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna, like, dance. I'm just gonna, like, flow through this and pray for the nation that I'm residing in, you know, for the leader that, you know, the leadership of the many people. Because it's not just, like, one person, the many, 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 many people. Like, if you know, you reside in America, you are one of the people that are stewarding the land of this area, like this part of the world. So I danced for like 10-15 minutes, and then I went on with my day because I had work to do. And my work, I think, is like how to make more community gardens, and you know, I can't control the outcome. And to be quite honest, I think there's a lot of controversy, and there was a lot of controversy during January 6th, like, oh, the polls are rigged, and, you know, who's to say that all the you know, everything's getting counted the right way, and, you know, it's not being paid off, or people are burning them, or, you know, they're tampering with them, whatever, XYZ. So many dramatic little things that we conniving humans bring up. And so to me, it's just like, you know what? I can't control, you know, what's gonna happen. And quite honestly, I don't want to have anything to do with it. I don't want to have this false sense of, like, I'm gonna control the next person that's gonna control me and everything. Like, no. I surrender. I want to live a good, happy life. I want to do what I can with what I have, with the people that are in front of me, and that brings me a sense of peace that is just simply unwavering. So, you know, I danced, I prayed, and this month I've been challenging myself to create more than I consume. So if you think about it, we doom scroll a lot. So if you think about how much you could create if for every single post, every single video, imagine that you created a video, imagine how much you'd create. So that's kind of the idea. And so to stop myself from doom scrolling, automatically getting on social media and then, you know, scrolling until I forget what I was doing, I decided that I just go live. So I opened up Instagram after I danced, and I wasn't doing the work that I should have been doing, which was to set up the seasonal maintenance proposal plan for the community gardens. And so I decided to go live on Instagram. And it had been on my mind. I was like, do I want to share that I'm not voting? Do I want to share that? Like, I don't want to popularize it. I think that people should, you know, if they can, they should go do it. You know, use it or lose it is kind of the idea there. So I didn't really want to, like, go on sharing saying people, you know, don't vote, right? Like, go do what makes your heart feel content and fills you with purpose, my friend. Good viber. I'm here to just share my story. Esther, you know, went live. She knew that she was going to talk and say, I didn't vote. I didn't know what I was going to say after that. But I didn't want to get too much into it. I just simply said, you know, each party has good things and bad things. Things that I like and things that I don't like. And I just rather kind of set this one out. I rather just see, and I trust that it will go out. I don't want to subscribe to this saying, like, oh, go do this, go do that, you know. And so obviously I knew, I am now familiar with the different ways that it goes. If you're not for me, you're against me kind of vibe, right? So overall, I think I felt relieved after saying that. Of course, it feels icky, and I've been exercising my throat chakra to not give a fuck about what people think, because you honestly, PJ-13, okay, if you are not 13, then I'm sorry about that. But yeah, so you just gotta not care. So obviously today I was like, you know, I did my post, I did my story share, and I went on Instagram, and it was so interesting that, you know, I remember 4 years ago, there were friends saying, you need to vote for blank, and if you don't vote for them, then you're voting against them, and you're pretty much useless, and you should unfollow me because I don't want to talk to you anymore, and we're not friends. And I was like, whoa, imagine some person that does not even know who you are, does not care if you live or die, and you're saying, I'm going to cut you off because you don't support this same person that I've never met in my life. Like, that's some diehard, cultish, mob, psychosis. Like, wow. You know what? They really did make us believe that, for some, that this is so serious that, you know, that the one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, somehow, unless, you know, you all are on my side, then it is divisible, because that ain't liberty. I don't feel like that's just... So Esther shared that, and then, of course, I shared it very quickly, and I shared a short prayer to the nation, to the people, it's just grounding in the reality that this is a beautiful, diverse place, and each person that finds themselves here and is a citizen and feels at home in this country, like, you are the change, you are the greatness, you are the essence of the place, you are it. And there are others like you. There are other people that support and love you, that appreciate you and feel that this is their home, and they want to feel secure, and they want to feel safe. And I think, obviously, there's like a lot of fear, and most of this fear is coming from scenarios that people are playing in their head, because of the scenarios that they started playing in their head because they were fed these scenarios through the marketing, and now they're hooked on it. All right, just deworming some of you. So okay. So tell me why there's like a white man up in my feed commenting on the video where I say I'm not voting, and they're like, you realize you're not voting is stripping away your rights as a woman of color. And I'm like, bro, you're a white man. Why are you telling me this? Like, this is so ironic to me. They're like, you not voting is a vote against your own being. You're crazy. And I was like, I guess I am crazy, because I don't care. That's crazy. That is crazy that you care so much about my rights that you feel led to guilt trip me into feeling like there's only two options. And I was like, bro, there are more than two options. Like, look up, I think it's like Jill Stein, like, look up the Green Party, look up the other parties. Like, the funny thing about the Green Party is that they don't get funding from any war efforts, because they're trying to, like, end the war, and most places don't fund them because they're not buying into the agendas, and because of that they don't get a lot of marketing, so not a lot of people actually, like, even think about them, because this is attention economy. This is attention economy in the ways that politics feeds off of your attention. The debates, they need people watching them so that they can analyze every single second, every single word, so that they can make their own decision and create their own opinions off of an hour-long segment of these two people talking about problems that, let's be honest, they're stressed, they're overworked, and these poor people, like, do you see how fast their hair turns gray? Do you see how fast they age because of the stress they're under? Like, just pray for them. Like, I don't know, I just feel like they don't really have any power. They don't really have any real power. And maybe this is because I feel like this is a part of the disconnect. This is a part of the transition of the Earth's densities when we think about the 3D, the 4D, and the 5D. And yeah, this is a beautiful part of when you unsubscribe to the dramas of the 3D, where many people think, oh, it's this or that. You're either for or against, you know. And you take a step back and you realize there's more than just two options. There's three options. And in reality, actually, there's even more options than that. I have the option of peace. I have the option of stewarding the land that I was given by God, that no man can take away, because this is my responsibility. And when the time comes where I relinquish my rule over whatever land, whatever possessions I have, they go to the next capable being, and that is called natural selection. That is called everything is in divine order and divinely orchestrated, and I can take a step back and trust in God. But yeah, it is definitely like a landmine of emotionally tense turmoil. Just so interesting, and that we don't pay any mind or realize what that's doing to us. That energy that's feeding them, that us seeing the other side as, you know, something that is outside of ourselves. Like, I think what's helped me is realize that we're all trying our best. All the candidates, all the people, like, everybody is trying their best. They're doing their best. And now we may think that they could do better, but like, yo, listen to me. Focus on yourself. Do the best that you can. And at the end of the day, you're probably going to think that you could do better, but if you didn't do in the first place, then there would be no better. So you're doing your best. You can let that other stuff rest. There's a lot of energy that we pick up, and we feed it with our emotions. Now, our emotions are energy in motion. There is an ending place. And if we're not aware of what energies that we're allowing to enter into our channels, then we're not really consciously aware of where we're going. And so this happens with like family clashes, when they're not even aware of half the stuff they're saying. They're just angry. They're just afraid. They're just frustrated. And so they come from this place of anger and fear and frustration, and they project it out, and at the end of the day they're left feeling angry. The fears have come true, and they're even more frustrated. So it is so interesting to see how this narrative can persuade people to drop their full identity and take on a new one that isn't serving God. And when you don't serve God, who you serving? Good viber. Well, you're probably serving Satan. And like, honestly, like, it needs to be said. Like, Satan's not that big of a deal. And I feel like some people are afraid of them, and that they're giving that energy. When you pour your emotions, when you have an intense emotion, that is the catalyst for manifestation to come. Because guess what? When you have high emotions, you take risks, you take actions. And when you take actions, things happen. Things come into reality. They manifest. So the emotional intensity is the catalyst for things to manifest. And many people don't realize that. They just feel it, and they don't realize how much they're feeding this narrative and how much power they're actually giving it. So allow yourself, like, you have so many beautiful, valuable things to give this world. Never let anybody stop you from giving them. No man here on earth can stop you from doing what you're here to do. And there are many men that will try to do just that. that will say, you didn't ask for permission. Listen, God already gave you permission. Source, creator, oneness, they're like, you were made for this. This is just a test. Ay, there's for those of you who are ready to release any emotion, any tension regarding politics, that was for you. Yeah, you gotta deworm that. It's a sticky situation with the recent stuff, and to be honest, it's kind of like it just, for me, it just reminds me of like prom king and prom queen, and I'm just like, oh, that's cool. Okay, I'm gonna go on with my life and do what I'm here to do. One day I won't be here, I don't know when. And I feel so thankful that every day I get to wake up, I get to talk to beautiful souls like you, and do what I love doing. I have clothes on my back, I have food to eat, I have people that I can just enjoy company with. I am thankful, I am happy, and I am so thankful to be able to share this message with you. Of course, it's very funny. Politics is such a funny thing with the way it needs you to believe in its legitimacy. It needs you to believe in its seriousness in order for it to work. There's no silliness in politics. No, it's very serious. No, we're serious now. This is about the future of our nation. This is about fate. We need to be real here, people, right? But in reality, like, we are here as children of the Creator. And we are here to learn and explore. And the people that we have elected and put in power, they are also learning. They're gonna make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. Like that is such a beautiful thing. And it's so exciting to know that you are, if you're still watching this, you are attuned with the 4D, the new Earth. The Earth that has no subscription to the human dramas of power and control, but is aware of the divine union of all living beings and the peace that comes from accepting things as they are, accepting people as they are, understanding the imperfections are part of the perfect, divinely orchestrated way of the world, and that you are so precious, and that you have something that no man, no human being can stop you from doing. Other than yourself, obviously, because, you gotta use your body, you gotta use those legs if you have them, use those arms if you have them, use that brain if you have one. and that is the beauty of it. That is the beauty. So this is a small story for someone, maybe you, about power and control when it comes to career. And I feel that to share this because this is quite recent. This is today and yesterday. Oh, so much love. You guys are the best. Chrissy, 18, and Soko Miko. Much love. So I work at a park, and I grow plants. I'm a horticulturist over there. And my supervisor, he has been working there for almost 30 years now. And he's like 48. So he's been working there pretty much his whole career. And it just is so beautiful. And this is an example of somebody that really isn't subscribed to the politics, because I'm a government employee, technically speaking. So yeah, there's a lot of politics. And before that, when I was homeschooled, the only outlet I had to society was the auxiliary of the Air Force. And yes, there's a lot of politics. I mean, there's a whole chain of command, and there's a whole power trip going on there. Okay, politics, power trip, think of it that way. Like, yes, people Okay, so let me continue the story. So my supervisor pretty much, he's a horticulturist. There was no horticulture title when he started working. He just really loved it. He loved it so much that he decided to take the greenhouse that he made when he was 17 years old at his house and bring it over to the park he was working at. And then after he brought it, then he kind of got permission because it was there, and they were like, oh, what's this? And he's like, oh, I brought it over here to, grow some plants. So it was justification as to why. And that's just what he loves doing. He enjoys it. It's his sole mission. He just purpose. It's his purpose. And I can see it in the way that he works. And so that one little greenhouse then turned into another greenhouse, and then they had 2 greenhouses, and they were like, okay, grow something that we can use. So he started growing grasses because it's a golf course, and he grew, native grasses that would help the plants. For him, he likes to grow gardens that help the animals. The people have enough, give something back to the animals, food, shelter, give them something. And after that, then he grew a really big, 50 by 30 feet greenhouse. And did he ask for permission? Well, let's just say supervisor walked through and was like, oh, okay. At this point, I think they got used to the fact that he just kind of does stuff and then asks for forgiveness afterwards. And so because of this, he had all of this established. It was at a time where there was only one title in the whole region, and he got, they had to take the civil servant exam. He got the second ranking space, so he, I think his friend at the time he was working with and volunteering with on the side had gotten the first position, the highest score, and he got the second highest score. So because he got the second highest score and he was so passionate about it, and everybody could see this, they were like, you know what, honestly, you're really good at what you do, and we'll make another title for you because you're really good at it. So they did that. They made the position he has now, the career he made for himself, is because he's just so passionate, and he just kept on doing this stuff, and he didn't really care about getting permission. He just knew, this is what I need to do. I need to grow plants. I love growing plants. I'm gonna grow plants. I'm gonna keep growing plants. I'm gonna learn as much as I can. I'm gonna be the best person to grow plants. I'm gonna make the structures for it. I'm gonna grow plants. I'm gonna put them in the ground. I'm gonna be the best person to dig holes. And that's all he did. And so obviously, it's so interesting that, a lot of people now tour the space, and they were like, wow, this is really great. And a lot of people are like, can you grow plants for us? Other parks are like, please help us grow plants. And he's training other people in parks to grow and take care of plants. And it's this whole thing, and it continues to grow. And the whole idea was that if he had asked permission from the person that was in power, there would be no plants to grow. There would be no greenhouse, because that's just not how things were. And he had to suck it up and just do what he knew he was here to do, and just do it so good that at the end of the day, even if they were upset, they were like, well, it is good, And so at the end of the day, it was about not asking permission from man to do what you are here to do. It is about understanding and trusting when man is saying, why are you doing this? I didn't tell you to do this. Who gave you permission to do this? To continue doing it. Because now this is an irreplaceable person that has created this whole career for themselves, and really made it a lot of space for them to leverage what they want to do, so that they can continue to pursue their mission and continue to grow more plants and provide habitat for native wildlife. So, now your experience may look different, but most likely there's going to be a human being that is going to, at some point, think they have power over your soul's innate reason for being here in the first place. Does that sound a little funny? It's not funny. I mean, you can laugh if you don't want to cry, but ultimately you can just observe it, because it's like an energy, it's an emotion, and it will pass. Trust in God, the source of life that has given your body a soul in the first place. Like, trust in the reason that you are here is for a reason. Everything is divinely orchestrated. You've had synchronicities that have reminded you of just how precise everything is. And if you think that you as a human are influencing it, you are. But you're also probably not influencing it as much as you think you are. And you can allow yourself to kind of take a lot of that tension and pressure, that you have to control, you have to always be doing. And just look at a plant, look at a tree. It doesn't have to always be doing. It is just naturally doing what it has to be doing in every single moment. It's not like one day the tree's like, oh my gosh, everybody else has leaves. Where are my leaves? It's like, in this season, I can allow myself to dig deeper into my roots for a stronger foundation and find the nourishment and the sustenance I need. And when the time comes for me to reach out with my branches and to allow the leaves to overflow and to cover me, then that time will come. So that is the beauty. When you thank you, the connection that you feel between me and God is because God's with us all, and I appreciate you. It takes one to know one. As you continue to cultivate your relationship with God, what you're really doing is clearing your channel so that you can allow the source energy to flow through you. And it becomes harder for the 3D, I'm just going to say the power-hungry politicians of mankind. And, a politician is not always somebody who's in office. Actually, I guess that is what a politician is. But there are many different kind of people that find themselves in a place of power, a manager, a boss, and they feel like they have this power over you in a way that just doesn't resonate with you. And that's because God's literally like, yo, you're connected to this all omnipotent source of life. And through it comes overflowing abundantly the potential and the potency of the pure, realization of just how perfect and beautiful you are. That, every single imperfection was made there for a reason, for a purpose. Every single struggle, usually I'm finding when I have done, brand consultations and, branding strategy talks, those struggles in any creator's life, they find that through that struggle they were able to find the solution, and because of that they were able to create something of valuable, rare service to humanity. And because of that, they are fulfilling their soul's mission, because they're acknowledging that, hey, this blaring pain, this experience that I had actually served a purpose, and now you're transmuting it, you're healing from it, and you're creating that solution that so many other souls may be experiencing and looking for. And they're, throughout all of this on the world, in this fleshly body, on this 3D plane, there will be people that will be scouring, looking for anybody who is just sprouting their head with that divine intuition that, hey, I'm here to do this, to shoot you down, to say, I didn't tell you you could say that. Because that's where they find power. That's actually a test. That's actually a test. Technically you could say that, Satan is kind of controlling them, but, Satan is just a test. A test to see, are you gonna succumb to the 3D? Are you gonna say that, actually, yeah, you're right. My fate is in your hands, 3D matter that is talking to me in my 3D body, And you know, when you say that your soul is going to hurt, and the only way to not feel that hurt is to numb it out with other 3D, fleshly, worldly things. So when you accept that if your soul is in pain, that's probably a calling for you to address and connect with the Creator, because they want you to have a strong source. It has been so helpful for the times where, you know, people say unhinged stuff and things just happen and you're just like, what? Is this a real life right now? And then you connect back to that source. And it's like this unwavering foundational stone. When the waves are crashing upon it, it just sits there. And it receives the waves and it stays still. And through every test, through every single physical matrix, 3D, flesh, body, power hungry being that comes your way, every emotion that makes you feel like what they're doing, what you're seeing is going to impact you in some way that is negative, whatever narratives that you may have subscribed to because you just didn't know any better, because that was shoved down your throat through millions of dollars of marketing. It is such a beautiful thing to take that breath and realize the power that you have. That what you want to do, you can do. Because there's a reason you want to do it in the first place. And to know, and to have the discernment to know what do you want to do and what do you need to do, what do you have to do, what do you get to do, to prioritize and to trust that you are doing the right thing. Because honestly, you're doing the best that you can. Give yourself a break. Like, politicians are doing the best that they can. I gotta give them a break. It's a hard job. A horrible job that most of us don't want, but we easily criticize. Like, that's what they got. Like, it kind of reminds me of Satan. Like, we all kind of are just like, we all hate on them. Some people fear Satan because it's like, oh my God, oh, get away from me. Like, yes, stay back, but also like, sorry you got the short end of the stick there. But that's also like what that's Satan's purpose. Satan's purpose is to, you know, be that evil side of the yin yang, and that is to test you, to really see, you know, it's gonna try to feed into, you know, oh, you know, this 3D matrix is so real, everything is so permanent, your fate is determined by things outside your control. Let me spiral you into a sense of helplessness so that you know, you get caught or addicted or feel, you know, you feel fear all the time and you project it to others and you feel hatred and paranoia, XYZ. And that is a test to see if you can break through the 3D of the low density of the flesh and connect to the unity of one, of source. To accept that, yes, there is duality, there is bad, there's also good. Where there's good, there's bad. Where there's bad, there's good. And for you to see it from this higher perspective of eternal peace, where you can realize, I'm not going to live here forever. I'm here to live my life, and I have skills, and I have talents, and I have things I want to do. And there's one thing that I don't know how to do, but I just feel like it would be amazing and really cool to experience. Or I don't know how I'm going to help myself, or I don't know how I'm going to help this person, but I just feel like I need to. Like, that's what I'm here to do. And to trust that innate feeling of purpose, where you don't feel like your purpose is not valuable unless you bring others down, or others' purpose are more important than yours, because you were given this mission and it is important. I don't know what it is, only you do. And that's a part of the importance of discovering and finding it for yourself and to creating that. So yeah, politics is kind of like this weird scam. We spend a lot of money and time and energy, emotional drainage. Talk about that, geez. Just for half of the people to be disappointed and sad and then cut off family members just because, like, they don't like it. they just don't like it. And, there's such a level of peace when you accept that, okay, like, whoever is president, and, like, maybe things change, maybe they don't, because it's one person. They're gonna do what one person can do. May this be inspirational for you in some way to see that one person seems to have millions and hundreds of millions of people believing they have all this power, and it's just one person. I'm one person. What power do I have? And start with just yourself. Start with inside yourself. Start with when you wake up. Do you do something that you enjoy and love? Do you have power over how you spend your day? Back to the story about my supervisor. Now, even though, the new groundskeeper, his supervisor, may want him to do certain things, he has the control because of his skills and this rare, valuable skill that he has when it comes to creating greenhouses out of nothing and knowing for the past 30 years how to grow every single plant that they need very efficiently and how to plan out and scheme it all and maintain it all. They're kind of in a pickle where, yeah, he has more control over how he spends his time because he's taking the time to master his craft, to focus on what he loves doing, and to see no person or experience or anything that is outside of himself as an obstacle that can stop him from doing what he's there to do. And so, yeah, I hope that you take that moment to appreciate and accept that things happen. You can't control them. I could talk more about, like, the election and how many people were like, burning ballot boxes, and it's suspicious. How do we know how much was tampered with the voting process in the first place? And now everybody's, like, more on board with crypto and Web3 because it's a great way to be more transparent. But regardless of that, that was something that during January 6th of 2020 was a big thing as well, the whole idea that the ballots were rigged. So, yeah, man, at the end of the day, it matters to you as much as it's supposed to matter, as much as your being is in the physical matter of the world. The more you remove yourself from the narrative of the political stories that are being circulated very, very heavily right now, the more power you have to invest in your own being, in bettering the world in the way that you can, instead of waiting for somebody to give you that opportunity. Because honestly, you have to make the opportunity. You have to put in the time. You gotta put in the hours. You gotta work. Take what's ours. Alright. So I think that is all I really wanted to share. I just wanted to say that it's a time where compassion is absolutely appreciated and needed. And yeah, people are emotionally volatile right now, so keep that peace to yourself. For me, the two parties are like the biggest cult to ever exist so far. And, we're all in cults whether we realize it or not. Are you Android or Apple? Do you follow a sports team? Do you wear a brand? Do you have a Supreme sticker? You know, these are all, again, the things of the 3D physical world. It's a part of being here on the earth. And it's as serious as you make it to be. I will say it that way. It is as serious as you make it to be. It can be fun, it can be free, it can flow easily, or it can be serious, it can be dark, it can be deep. And it's not my job to convince somebody that their reality is my reality. Their reality is their reality, and it's 100% valid. That's what they're seeing, that's what they're perceiving. I am so thankful for the reality that Source has given me to perceive, to learn from, the experiences. Beautiful. So, last deworming in progress. Yeah, I think I could hear somebody going like okay. So why I speak in light language sometimes is just because it's so much easier to deprogram the 3D using physical form of sound and, you know, my voice, to allow, you know, the different frequencies to come through, to acknowledge the different programs and stories around politics that are creating this emotionally volatile narrative that is ready to go off at any trigger. So it is up to you to seek to find peace, regardless of who is in office, regardless of this. You know, honestly, it's up to you to find that peace, because when you find that peace, you are able to navigate through the worst case scenario, because your mind is clear and you're able to function properly in the best case scenario. So, thank you so much for joining me. I expect, just like a politician, I respect that they can take a lot of hate. And I respect that. They're, once again, a human. And that is their calling. Their calling is to do what they're doing. And so I gotta respect that. You know, I might not agree with everything for whoever, but I can respect that. And I can appreciate when I see somebody living up to their potential. So yeah. Remember, we're all doing our best. The peace is within you. Connect to God more and you will become unmovable. And never ask permission from a person to do what your soul is here to do. Give yourself permission to do it. And accept the consequences that will come. Alright, much love. God bless.